Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Let me know if you can hear me. I know you guys are all connecting. Hi, hello. Hello, Maya. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I am good. You have the same name like my sister.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, well, her name is Mariana, but we call her Maya. So I don't know if your name is Mariana as well.
No, it's Maya.
It's Maya. Okay. Awesome. I'm so happy to see you again. I'm seeing some
Thank you.
names that I've seen before, some names I know. Hi, Miranda,
Yeah.
Andrea, Sandra. Hello. I'm so excited to have everybody here. We're going just to wait a few more moments to see as usual, because some people might be late. And I am recording this as well. So whoever wants to have a recording after this session, let me know, because there are also a lot of people who want to join, but they can't because they're fasting. So they're having iftar. And then I'll be sending the recording through. How is everybody feeling with those eclipse energies? They are hardcore, aren't they?
Really hardcore.
I feel like I'm in a washing machine, guys. I don't know, like on speed dial. I am like all over the place, but I'm a Libra, so you know those eclipses, they're falling literally like in my first and seventh house, and I can feel it so much. It's like insane. Same. Yes, yeah. That's why it is so amazing. Actually, we have this webinar today on feminine energy and the womb activation, because I always say, like, if there's anything more feminine in this world or that teaches us feminine energy, it's eclipses. Because eclipses really push us to surrender. Like, literally, like we are in this portal where we have no control and we are pulled to one side, we are pulled to the other side. The old is leaving, the new is coming, but we are still not there yet. And it's like we are in the middle of it, and we just have to learn to be like, okay, what needs to go, let it go. What needs to come, let it come. And that's that feminine energy of surrender that really eclipses teach us. And eclipses, we have them twice a year. Well, not twice, they're actually 2 to 4 times a year. So they're not some like rare phenomena. But the eclipses we have now are very special because they're conjuncting certain planets. So I don't know how much of you guys know about astrology, so I don't want to confuse you too much with, like details. But what basically Aries and Libra represent, and this is why it becomes so important, right? So Libra is about relationships. So us and the others. It's all relationships, our intimate relationships, family, friends, career, literally everything. That is Libra, contracts, karma, balance, justice, all of that. Libra always, when I listen to Libra descriptions, I have to laugh always because they're so basic and they don't actually give Libra justice at all in terms of the sign itself, because it's actually the sign Libra in itself. It's actually a portal. It's a cardinal sign. It brings in the autumn season. And in old ancient Egypt, if you look at mythology, people, if they were supposed to go to the afterlife, because in Egypt, the main point of the time back then in ancient Kemet, was called Kemet in Egypt, was the afterlife. There was more significance given to the life afterlife than the actual life on earth. So everyone who, let's say, died, transitioned, their heart was measured against the feather of Ma'at, and the feather of Ma'at were the scales. This is why Libra is a sign of karma and, let's say, karmic justice and divine justice and balance. So it's an incredibly important sign, and it rules relationships. I mean, what is more personal than our relationships? Yeah, it's nothing more personal. And the Libra is in the South Node. So the South Node in astrology is all about karmic release, past lives, letting go. And it's that energy that can also drain us from our energy. So we can feel sometimes, especially when there is an eclipse like tomorrow in Libra, we can feel very tired. How many of you are feeling tired? Like just tired without apparent reason? Yeah. That's the south node energy, is the tail of the dragon. So the south node is called the tail of the dragon, and then the north node is called the mouth of the dragon, right? So it's represented it's depicted by a dragon. And that's why we can feel tired a lot. And then we have the North Node, which is in Aries, and we have a total solar eclipse in Aries on the 8th of April. So we are feeling right now both energies. We are in the portal of both energies. And Aries is all about the self, me, my power, my willpower, what I want to go after. You know, Aries it's considered the ram. It just goes, it doesn't care, it just wants what it wants, and that's it. And it's also a cardinal sign. So both signs are in cardinal signs, and both signs are in signs of us versus the other. So it's huge. I mean, those two signs are, I think, two of the most personal signs we can have. And then when the eclipse is taking place in those signs, we feel it on a very personal level. Yeah, so whether you have Aries or Libra in your top 3, meaning sun, moon, or rising or not, you will have planets, you have houses representing these signs, you will still feel it. Yeah. Now you can sleep all day and all night, Miranda. Yes. Yeah, that is the eclipse energy, right? So we have 7-7. Woohoo, what a number. And we are just going to start. We'll just go to start. We had actually 16 people signed up, but like in all the last webinars, because it's for free, people don't really show up. So we are just going to begin because you guys were on time. And then we are just going to start. Before we begin, I would like to introduce myself to those of you who don't know me. I think, Sandra, you were in the previous webinars as well, right? No, you were not, or maybe you have someone who was.
No, I'm first time. I'm first time live with you, but I've been following you for I think a couple of years now via Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, that is so nice. I think we have a lot of Balkan people here today, except
Yeah. Greetings from Serbia.
Yeah, that's so nice. Yeah, I'm from Croatia, Bosnia. So
yeah, I know.
So this is so nice. So we have like a little Balkan gathering. Well, Andra, she's from Argentina, but Andra, it's fine. You're used to the Balkan people. By the way, guys, because we have so many Balkans here, I just want to let you know that women from the Balkans, in general, Slavic women as well, we are, in my experience, because I work now literally with over, 500, 600 women, especially on womb healing and feminine energy. And in my experience, it's really next to Arab women, it's the Balkan women, the Slavic women that are here literally to clean the ancestral lineage. Like the amount of karma we carry from the Balkans is insane. Literally. And I mean, we had all these wars, we had all these discrepancies in our countries, one side against the other, which we are not doing. But it carries it with us. We are carrying that imprint. And especially we as women, we are here to resolve that. So we have a huge role to play, especially the Slavic women, because also in particular Slavic women in the ancient times, majority of us were witches. We were witches, we were healers. That's why you also, we have in our country a lot of black magic stuff. We have a lot of, Andra, I don't know if you have it in Argentina, but we have this, and that is the reason why we are having this, why it's so synonymous for us. So this is why it's very powerful today that I have all of you here. And I'm actually very happy, because every time we have a webinar, we have a different amount of people. We have different kind of women here. And every time I feel it's exactly the women that needed to come that are there. And today it's like all of you, because we are going to go into feminine energy and into the womb healing. And before I begin with the webinar, I'd like to introduce myself, because the first time around I forgot it. Maya knows. Miranda. I got so excited about the topic. I was like, who cares about Anita, right? So, so if you have followed me for a while, some of you have worked with me that are here. Yeah. So my name is Anita. I'm originally from Croatia. Half Croatian, half Bosnian, but we used to be one country. So who actually cares, right? We speak the same language. And I grew up in Germany. So my parents moved to Germany in the early 80s, and I lived the first 4 years of my life in former Yugoslavia. Hi, Kunali. And then I grew up in Germany all of my life. So my family's there. I studied economics. So I hold a bachelor degree in international economics. I was a professional dancer. And then eventually, through a personal crisis, I started going into psychology. I started going into the topics of the occult, of the esoteric, which was always calling me. And then I was doing Tantric Healing. I was doing plant medicine and a lot of different things that eventually led me from the career of a project manager, where I traveled the entire world. You know, I was working for FIFA, for Formula One, for oil and gas companies, so all the big boys, into really the work of energies and energetics. And so here I am today as an embodiment and energetics mentor and teacher and guide. And my role in this lifetime, one of my many roles, but I would say the most important one, is to bring you into your sovereign power. Sovereignty is everything as we are moving forward into the new era. All of it is about sovereignty. And what is sovereignty? Sovereign power means being firmly rooted in who we are, in our spirituality, in our soul, in our body, in our essence. This is sovereignty. Sovereignty is speaking your truth. Even if the whole room says yes, you are saying no because it's your truth. Sovereignty is living in embodied confidence. It's a sense of divine being. So we are merging our divine existence with our physical existence. And we need to understand one thing when it comes to spirituality and ascension and all of those things. And I know that a lot of you that I hear, you've done already a lot of work, and you are doing some of the energy work, and you are in this field. When we speak of the spiritual ascension, yes, the soul came here for its own evolution, for its own karmic patterns that it had to replay, for its own karmic role, but also it came here to grow. Now, what is ascending eventually, what is transforming eventually, is not the soul. It actually is the body. The body is what is going through this transformation, because what is transforming is our DNA and our cellular memory. And these two are the major components. This is why whenever we go through an ascension period in our life, we feel it in our body. And when we have done inner work, when we have done the death and rebirth processes, when we have healed our traumas and karmas and all the things we came here to do, what you will notice is a big shift in your body and in your face. Like, I'll just give you an example. After my ayahuasca, after my LSD and all of the stuff that I have done, my face has completely changed. If I look at my old videos, I am like, oh my God, I look so different. And it rejuvenates you. I look now, and I'm 44, just to know my age. I'm 44. People are shocked, yes, when they hear my age. How many people are shocked when they hear your age? Do you experience that too, right? No one in the earth gives me 44. People think I'm maximum 35. Yeah. And that is due not just, okay, we can do Botox, we can do fillers, we can do all of these external things. And we do, right? It's beautiful to be able to do that. But it's the inner work, it's the inner transformation that does that. Why? Because your cells are getting rejuvenated. It's your cells. And because the cells get rejuvenated through this process, this is what rejuvenates your body. And you look younger, you radiate differently. I mean, let's get it real. I don't know how old everyone here is, but if I look outside, many of the 40 years old women look way better than the 20-year-old women. And this is not a judgment. This is simply an observation, And that's to inner work and to really owning ourselves. But also it's generational, right? Our generation didn't fill ourselves up with Botox and fillers when we were in our 20s. It was not available at that time. It was not something important at that time. And nowadays, a lot of 20-year-olds do that, which makes them look older than they actually are in their age, right? But leave aside beauty and cosmetology and all of those treatments we can do. It literally is how we radiate from within that makes a woman a woman. It doesn't matter if you weigh 100 pounds. It's not about the looks. It's about the energy. And this is my major role in this life, is to guide everyone through the energies, because this is the non plus ultra, as we say in Germany. I don't know in English. It's the key, it's the energy. Right? And as we are moving forward into the new time, it's all going to be about energetics. And when we speak of energetics, we speak of feminine energy. Why? Because the physicalities of life, which we can see, which we can feel, which we can hear, which we can touch, which we can build, is all masculine. Everything has its polarity, right? We need always both. Everything that is unknown, unseen, is the feminine. Energies are not seen at all. You cannot see energy unless you have an instrument and unless we have the ability to zoom in and to see auras. But it's not physical, like let's say this here. You can see it immediately. Like I just show it, you can perceive it. Energies are not so easily seen like that. These are my tarot cards, and it's obviously the Wicca symbol for witches. So girls, I'm sure you love that. Because I feel we have a lot of witches here, ladies. A lot of witches here today. It's a very powerful group. I don't know if you feel the energy. Do you feel the energy of healers and witches here in this group? And a lot of us, we have been together in a past life. We have sat in a circle. Oh, yeah, we have sat in a circle together. So what I want to do in this webinar today, and I always say I want to keep it 1 hour, I end up having it way longer. But what I want to do today in this workshop and in this webinar, and why it's so important, is I want you to go back to the state of remembrance of who you are. And when I say of who you are, I don't mean the nationality in this life, okay? Serbia, Bosnia, Croatia, UK or Argentina, nobody cares. This is our incarnation in this life. On the soul level, nobody gives a damn about these things, right? I want to go to your remembrance of your soul, who you are beyond your nationality, who we are beyond our gender, our job title, how we see ourselves beyond the perception and our own identity. If we break down all these layers of who we believe ourselves to be and who we identify ourselves to be, then the only question that remains is, who are we? Who are we truly? And this is the era, this is the portal, this is the territory of the feminine energy. Now, we as women are playing a crucial role moving forward because the earth is shifting, as all of you know. We have divine mother codes coming in on steroids, literally on steroids, especially this year. And what these divine mother codes do, first and foremost, is they cause a lot of chaos, because that's feminine energy rules the chaos. Why is that? Because we need to create a new world order, but not the new world order that is propagandized out there. Yeah, you will have everything but own nothing. I'm not talking about this new world order. This is all BS, and we know that. I'm talking about the new world order in a sense of feminine energy, mother codes coming back here on earth and beginning to rule. Because the feminine doesn't rule over, she rules with. And that is the big difference. A big difference, yeah? So these codes that are coming in, and a lot of people, they have a misconception of feminine energy. They always think it's just soft, it's just kind, it's just nourishing. Exactly. No. It's a beautiful side from her. It's a higher manifestation of her. But the feminine energy first rules the chaos, the void, the unknown, and the darkness. Whenever we speak of shadow work, going into our darkness, trauma work, karma work, ancestral work, this is feminine territory. And we all know, anyone who has done any kind of work like this, it is not pleasant. It is scary sometimes. It can be really scary. This is not easy. This is really not easy, because it's not easy to be faced with our own fears, with our own wounds, with our own worries and doubts and all of the things that make us human in this world. But this is where the feminine comes in, and she allows you to look at yourself honestly and heal everything that can be healed. And this world is in a big need of healing, massive need of healing. Just look around you in this world. The kids don't know anymore what does it mean to be a man or a woman. They can choose their gender. I mean, how normal is that? And this is not my opinion. This is literally, how normal is that? It starts already there. If you don't know if you're a man or a woman, just gender-wise, how will you even know what is masculine and feminine energy? You're completely lost. And this is just another way to separate. This is just another way to divide ourselves from the divinity. Right? The moment you have a vagina, you are a woman. The moment you have a dick, you are a man, full stop. Now, some people are born in the wrong body. They suffer, they do surgeries, and they transform, and that is fine. Why I'm bringing up this topic is because I had this conversation today with friends who have a little kid. And it becomes really obvious that the new generation somehow is very lost in who they are, is very weak, which is actually very weird, because if we think about the new generations that are coming in on higher frequencies when it comes to self-love than we were born with. We were born with much lower frequencies of self-love because we came here to transmute ancestral karma. So we had to relearn what self-love means. We had to relearn what being a woman really means, beyond just looking like a woman and cooking and taking care of kids and all of these things. What truly is feminine energy beyond all of that? Of the classical role models that we have as women, depending on the culture we come from. And I know in particular in the Balkans, a woman was only worth a woman when she was able to cook, to clean, to look after the kids. That is fact. Even I grew up in Germany. I know how it was. I know how my mom suffered from this. I know how my grandmother suffered from this. And this is in a lot of cultures. So we are here to shift the game, my loves. And you are here in this webinar with me because you are ready to shift the game. Because in its essence, feminine energy is here to wipe the floor. Wiping the floor means, and this is where it gets tricky for a lot of women, because we are raised to people please. We are raised and kind of programmed to put others first. Put the husband first, put the kids first, put the grandparents first, put the parents first, put everyone first, and then eventually somewhere down the line it comes us. So the feminine is here to break free from all of this. The feminine is here to literally teach us again what it means to be feminine. There's a difference between being a woman and being feminine. There's a lot of men walking in high heels and mini skirts. And I'm not speaking of a man that has changed his gender. I'm speaking of women running out of masculine energy like no tomorrow. So we came into a world as women that was highly dictated, highly controlled, highly directed by masculine energy. And for us to survive, for us to make a living, for us to have a career, we didn't have role models that were doing this with feminine energy. How to run a business with feminine energy, how to take care of your kids and be a career woman at the same time on feminine energy. No, we did all of this through the masculine energy because this is what we saw. And if we didn't comply, we wouldn't have a job. We wouldn't be growing in our career. Who cared if we had our periods and were struggling with the periods? Your boss didn't care, certainly. Well, take some pills, we got work to do. Because men run on a 24-hour hormonal cycle. We do not operate on a 24-hour hormonal cycle. We cannot, we burn out. Look at the statistics of feminine health issues, and I'm speaking now of gender. How many women struggle with breast cancer? It's insane. Fibroids. Yeah. I mean, we have so many issues as women. It is not normal. It's all related to feminine health. It's all feminine health. So it's the uterus that is affected, thyroid hormones. Thank you, Kunali. Exactly. It's the breasts. And you know, thyroid issues, I had them. I had a Hashimoto when I was 16 years old. Hashimoto is an infection of the thyroid. Thyroid issues stem from generations of women. Doesn't have to be us. We are here to heal the ancestry line. Remember, we come in with that. Thyroid issues are mainly based on a spiritual level. I'm not speaking medical. I'm not a doctor. On suppressed voice, not speaking our truth, shutting down our truth in order to please others, in order to not upset others. On a spiritual level, thyroid issue, hormonal imbalances, and because thyroid issue creates hormonal imbalance, the thyroid governs our hormones. So whenever we have a thyroid issue, there is something with the voice that we were not expressing, and the throat is related to the womb. If you put the uterus and the vocal cords in one picture, they look alike, and they are what we call the alchemical twins. So any woman who has a problem expressing the truth has an issue in their womb, has an imbalance in their womb. So feminine energy, and this is my biggest desire for you today. Feminine energy resides, has her home, has her power in the womb. You cannot work on feminine energy without working on the womb, full stop. It is as an example to give you, if let's say you have eye issues, you can't see properly, you're blurry there, it's foggy, and instead of going to an ophthalmologist, you go to a cardiologist. As a silly example, what is a cardiologist that's focused on the heart going to do with your eyes? He might know the basics, but he's not specialized in that. So the work with feminine energy has to go through the womb. Now, write it in the comments in the chat box. How many of you have been raised with awareness on the womb beyond the period and childbirth? 0. Yeah. Yeah. None. Exactly. Yeah. And this is not to blame our mothers or grandmothers. I always say this is very important. I don't vibrate on the frequency of blame. We are here on the frequency of truth. And the fact is that none of us were raised with the awareness of the womb. Why? Because our mothers and grandmothers didn't know. They were not raised with that awareness. For them, the womb was just a reproductive organ. And the only time we paid attention to the womb was when we had our periods, when we had fertility issues, when we had childbirth, when we, God forbid, had health issues. This is the only time we would be focusing on the womb. Now, the womb is a reproductive organ. Yeah, it has the ovaries. We have the menstruation, the ovulation. All of that is biologically. Yes, there is a lot of shame around it as well. Yes, thank you, Sandra. Yeah. A lot of shame. A lot of shame around the womb. And you see, when we look back in history, like really to the ancient times, and I'm trying to keep this webinar simple, okay, because there is so much to actually really talk about if you want to go deep. If you look at back in ancient history, in the ancient times, in the times of Atlantis and Lemuria, and Egypt, old ancient Egypt, I'm not talking of the today Egypt, the feminine energy, the womb, was worshipped. If you look at the chalice, the Catholic chalice even, from the priests, it is created in the image of a womb, with the two ones that you hold here being ovaries. So the sacredness of the womb has always been there. In the temples, it was women who were healing. It was women who were working with sexual energy, not men. This is not about gender battle. Again, not the vibration I work on. I'm just giving you facts on what really is when it comes to feminine energy. The sexual energy is actually in its polarity, feminine energy. It's related to Shakti, to the life force. It's feminine because it's the feminine that creates energetically, not gender energy. So because of the power of the woman, the power that we hold in our womb to not just create life, okay, but to create everything we desire, to master life through sexual energy, to nourish, to take care, to protect, to guide. Because of this power, we have been hunted. Because of this power, we have been burned. Because of this power, we have been shunned. And mark my words that all of you who are in this webinar today, you have been witches burned at stake. You have been. And I'm seeing this in my womb initiation all the time. The shame we carry, the anger we carry is not related to this lifetime, 99.9%. It's related to a past lifetime. And Andra, you know, we had a session the other day, so you know what I mean. And we are not aware of this in this lifetime, but who is aware is the womb. It's the portal. The womb is your oracle. If you've ever been to a psychic, yeah, if you think about a crystal ball, that is your womb. Because she stores information beyond time and space. She is your akasha. And anything related to shame, guilt, sex, sexual energy is in the womb. No other place in the body. You can work with the heart, you can work with the breath. It is the womb that stores it. Because she knows, she really knows. And what I want in this webinar in particular is for all of you, and we are going to do a little connection with the womb towards the end of this webinar. We are going to go through that. I want you to today become really aware of the power, the sacredness, and the divinity of your womb. There is a reason that in this lifetime we reincarnated as women. Because all of us had many lifetimes as men. I know I had. But there is a reason that at this point in time, we came here as women with a womb. Now, whether we have a physical womb or not, because some women had to remove their womb due to health issues, you still have an energetic womb. It is still there. Now, when you think of the womb, just type in the chat box. What is the first thing that comes up? Baby, yes. Void, nice, yes. Pain, yes. Yeah, dark place. I don't know why. It is a dark place, Miranda. The womb is the darkness. Now, if you think of the womb as a physical organ now, okay, something enters the womb, right? So the man enter the womb. They need to enter the vagina to enter the womb space. Now, when you think of the womb, what is it? It is dark. It is wet. There's a lot of bacteria. But the womb also, she sucks in, she sucks, and she spits out. If you've ever were intimate with a man, you sometimes might have heard that sound like, yeah? That's a vacuum because it's a vacuum. So when the man penetrates, it pushes in air. So it creates the sound like a, because she is the void. The woman, the womb stores. We store. Now, the problem is memory. Yes, we store memory. Brava. We store memory. Now, when a man ejaculates inside your womb, you store all his data. You store his pain, you store his struggle, you store his frustration, you store his depression, you store his motherfucking issues. How amazing is that? Yeah? OMG, yes, OMG. Sex is never just sex. Do not let anyone fool you. This whole liberation of sexual liberation is a false. Yeah. So we as women, because the womb stores memory, Medusa, that's it. Yeah, because the womb stores it. She stores all of it from a man. And then you carry that with you. The energy of the man, you carry it with you. Do you think in the ancient times when women knew about the sacredness of the womb and the sacredness of intimacy and sexual energy, they had something called sexual liberation? No. Because the moment you honor your womb and mark it from someone like me who also had casual sex like most of us did, but I also know the difference between casual sex and honoring my womb. The difference is here you let anyone, not anyone, but you let a lot of guys in. Oh, I need it. I want to feel love. I want to feel pleasure. I just need it right now. That's this part. And there is no judgment. It's part of the human experience, guys. We are not here to judge. I want you to remember that. But I'm just giving you the difference. Here we need a lot of validation and instant gratification. We need, bottom line, why we do this? We need love as women. It's love. It's about needing love. Whenever I did it, it was because I needed love. My body needed it. I needed it. Especially when I was single. It's different in a relationship that's committed. Yeah. But then here, when you honor your womb, now suddenly you live almost in celibacy. How many of you are living in celibacy? Even you're horny and you need it so badly. Yes. Right? Exactly. It's like, oh God, I'm like dripping. I'm dripping, but no. Yeah. I feel you. I have this all the time. I'm like, Jesus, she needs it. But no, we can't. Because the moment we are in this space, we cannot let anything in that is not as sacred as we perceive our womb to be. And that is the huge difference. That is the huge difference. It doesn't mean we need it any less than here. Not at all. We are sexual by nature. But we just can't do it. We just can't do it. And it's also our womb that then gives signals. Have you ever noticed that when you're in the presence, especially of a man, and it's a romantic interest, I'm not speaking now of your father, your brother, your boss, no. A man, let's say you go on a date or you meet someone, let's say, oh, you like him a little bit. Yeah, there is some sparks. Have you noticed that your womb either contracts or pulsates? Write it in the chat box if you have noticed it. I love this conversation today. It's so beautiful. I'm not even dating anymore. I feel you, girl. I feel you. I feel you. Don't worry. The cycle is going to come where you will meet that one. It's all about cycles. We are in a big time of change. It's not anymore like before. And when the right cycle for you kicks in, the man is going to come in and he will honor your womb. He will know this is my woman and he will do what a man needs to do. Because one thing about being in honor of our womb as the feminine, guess what? We want a real man. Just not if you agree. What is a real man? Now, a real man is different things to different women, but we want a man that is emotionally stable, mentally stable, financially stable, doesn't need to be a millionaire, okay? Who has his shit together, who knows what he wants. He goes after what he wants. And a divine feminine, a woman in her power, she will always challenge a man. Always, her energy alone will challenge this guy. And take it from a woman that doesn't just is a woman and has her own experience, but I work with a lot of men. I work with a lot of couples. And here is one big thing. A man always knows. Do not think men are stupid. Do not think men have not an intuition. A man, when he sees a woman, please believe me, please. He knows when he met the one. He knows. There is no doubt. So from today onwards, what you're going to affirm for yourself, my man is going to recognize me. And how will you know? There will be no confusion about what he wants from you. There is no confusion. You're not thinking, oh, does he want? Does he not? Or he did this. No. You will know, because why? He will make it clear. There will be no hot and cold games. It will just be there on a consistent basis. But you as a woman, we as women, we are here to guide the masculine. So guess what? We have to be in our power. If the woman is not in her power, the man has an easy game. The reason why the dating game is so effed up is because of us women. Sorry, but we open our legs to everybody. That is fact. And this is not a judgment. Again, this is not a judgment. I've had casual sex, okay? Because I want to enjoy my body. There's nothing wrong with that. And please do not misunderstand me when I say this. But what is the man having to hunt? What is the man having to court if he gets it like this on a silver platter? Because it's in his nature to hunt. A man's nature is to see a woman, to feel her sacredness, and to want to conquer it. But if we as women do not know our sacredness, and if we give him what he wants, what does he have to conquer again? He does not have to conquer anything. But this is why it starts with us, not with the man. It really starts with us, honoring our womb, honoring the feminine energy within us, being also detached. And that's one of the hardest things, because we are wired for love. We are wired for bonding. Men too, but we women more, even hormonally. That's why we can't actually have casual sex, unless it's a guy we really know we can't fall for. But if we like the guy just a tiny bit, and we sleep with him, oh, not so good, right? We fall like this. And that is the truth. This is why a lot of us have had heartbreaks, I included, because I fooled myself. I was like, no, I can do it. But you can't, because it's a man's territory to be able to have sex with many women and not get attached. It's in their nature, literally. They are designed this way. We not. We are designed in our nature to take care of the home. And it all literally goes back to ancient times again. But you see, no matter how we evolve in our consciousness, no matter how we evolve in our own being, how liberated we become, how independent as women, nature is nature. And we can't fight how we are designed naturally. But we have to own what we want. Do we want just fun? Or do we want a real partnership? Now, if we want a real partnership, how should this partnership feel? And first, before you even think about the guy, you need to ask yourself, how do I want to show up as a divine feminine? Because if there is one thing men crave more than anything at this point in time, it's real embodied feminine energy. It's not so much out there, guys. Everyone speaks of feminine energy. There are few embodied feminine women. And you can feel that. And the irony in all of this is that when you are in this embodied feminine energy, men feel it. And you know what they do? They bow down to it. Have you ever experienced that? Doesn't matter if it's a romantic interest or not. They naturally, this is not even something you have to think about or do anything about it. Well, they run away, but let them run because they are not ready for it. You know, the feminine challenges. So the men that are not ready for this, they will run. Let them run. But I'm speaking overall. It is a natural game of energies, is that the man bows down to an embodied feminine. I'm speaking embodied feminine, guys. Not someone who's just like, okay, I'm feminine. Have you ever watched a couple dancing? Have you ever watched a tango couple dancing or a ballroom couple dancing? If you haven't, after this webinar, please go and watch the dance, watch the dynamic between those two. I always say to everybody, if you want to know the real nature of masculine, feminine, watch couple dances. Because there you will see it. It's nothing that we do mentally. It's all energy. You can use the mind to amplify it. You can use the mind to direct it further. Yes, the mind is powerful, but it's the body. It's the feminine is the body. We function through the body, not through the mind. Everything we are, everything we feel, everything we know, when I speak of the inner knowing, is in the body. It is not in the head space. This part here, no. It confuses us even more. Everything that we are is from the head space, from the neck space down. Our power as women is in the womb. Why is that? Because the womb stores the 3 power centers. What are the power centers? And these power centers are connected to any other part of our body. I'm sure you know about the chakra system inside the body. I'm speaking of the one inside. There's plenty of them outside our body, right? There's 7 chakras in our body. So, and I'm speaking now in particular of the 6. So the root, the sacral, the solar, the heart, the throat, the third eye. Those 6 have specific functions and they're all connected. The 7th one, the crown, functions as a barometer, meaning it checks how the others are doing. That's what the 7th chakra does. It's a very unique function. So, the 3 power centers. If you ask people about power centers, now let me ask you. Now, I told you already a little bit, but let's say I didn't tell you anything. If you think about a power center of a woman, what would first come to your mind in terms of a chakra? And type it in the chat box. What would be the first chakra you would think of as the power center of a woman? Yeah. Very good. Sacral belongs to it. Heart belongs to it, but the heart is a gate. I will guide you through each of them in a second. There's a lot of misguiding teachings out there, a lot when it comes to many things. Now, we all have a different perception of how things work. I'm going to give you what works for me and what works in the work with my clients. Okay? The 3 power centers of any human, not just women. Men have a womb space too, by the way. It's an energetic womb space called the hara, right? So they don't have to have a physical womb. But a man is birthed through a womb of a woman as well. So the 3 power centers of a woman is first the root. The root. So the root is related to the earth element. Our material world, the physical world we live in, which is our safety, our stability, our ability to create in this life a safe foundation for ourselves. It's also, interestingly though, because it's feminine energy, the earth is feminine energy, it's also our masculine container. We build through the earth, through the root. How rooted do we feel in earth? How rooted do we feel in our body? How safe do we feel in our body? How safe and protected do we feel by life? It goes also to the Maslow pyramid. Does anyone of you know the Maslow pyramid? Abraham Maslow. So Abraham Maslow, he came up with a pyramid, and it's amazing. It has several layers of how the human functions, and what it's a layer, it's a pyramid based on the needs, the natural needs that we have. And his thesis is that if the bottom needs are not met, we cannot go to the next level of the pyramid. So the bottom line of the pyramid, the foundation, which is the root, is our shelter. We need to have a roof over our head, right? Clothing, food, basic security, safety, right? So that's the baseline. If we don't have this, it's very difficult, because that's also our survival mechanisms. And this is linked to the material world, because if you want a home, you want a home in the physical. You don't want a home in your head. Right? So we are all material people. Don't let these spiritual guys fool you, because you don't want things all in your fantasy. You want them here. And we are here to experience life in a material sense. So this is it. So when we don't have these needs met, when we are constantly in survival, then how can we think of the next things, which is, for example, love, relationships, fulfillment? How can you think of any of this if you are constantly struggling for survival? Right? So just to give you like a little baseline about the Maslow pyramid, and this is Earth. It's the base of this pyramid. Earth is also related to our ability to nourish. It's the mother energy, Earth. That's why we call Mother Earth, Mother Earth. There's a reason we call her Mother Earth. The Mother Earth nourishes. But what a lot of people forget, Mother Earth nourishes, yeah, but we also bury people in the earth. We bury people in the earth, the bodies. We bury seeds in the earth. So there is again a theme of death and rebirth and growth. Feminine. Yeah. Then from the root, we go to the sacral, as majority of you already said. Yes, the sacral. Yeah, sexual energy, creativity, passion. It's that fire. It's also the waters. Sacral is again divided between the ovaries. Each ovary represents a certain element, which is air and fire. How creative do we feel? Can we channel our creativity? How sexual do we feel? Do we feel playful? By the way, sorry, the earth, the root is also sensuality. And then from the sensuality, we go to the sexuality. Do we as women feel sexual? Is our vagina juicy? Yeah. Are we passionate about life? Are we passionate about the things that we do, the people that we have, about ourselves, about every single moment? And then from the sacral chakra, where we store also not just all these beautiful things, but the sacral also stores in particular ancestral trauma, shame, guilt. Is the area, the territory of a suppressed sacral. Now we carry our ancestral stuff with us because it's transmitted through the mitochondrial DNA. It's not something we control. It's in a cellular memory. And it has been confirmed by scientists that when a baby is in the womb of its mother, it carries cells that were there from the beginning of its inception. And these cells, by the way, don't change. Usually cells split, they transform. Those cells remain. There are certain cells in an embryo in a mother's womb that the mother carries and the child carries that are not splitted and transformed, only later. So any kind of shame or guilt we carry. And look, guys, shame can be as small as us being afraid to show others our truth, or to show others parts of ourselves we feel ashamed of. This is already shame. Oh, I don't want to share this because, I feel guilty about it, or I don't feel good about it. Even if it's, let's say, stealing a chocolate bar as a child. I stole a chocolate bar. The sacral is also the domain of death, of money, of power. Now, sit at the table and open the topics of sex, death, and power and money. You will see the weirdest reaction. Damn. People are getting all weird. Those 4 topics carry the most shame in terms of frequency: money, power, sex, death. And they're all connected. How can you have life without death? How? How can you have new beginnings without another one ending? How is this even possible? It's not. How can you have sex and create a child if there is no desire? It's all linked. A lot of people feel even shame about their desires. A lot of women have really, let's say, kinky desires that they don't allow themselves to express it. Then from the sacral, we go all the way up to the solar plexus. And that's also our power center, so to speak, in a sense that this is our willpower, this is our confidence. And this is also us in relation to others. Solar plexus, why solar? It's ruled by the sun. Solar is the sun. How much can we allow ourselves to shine? Are we keeping ourselves small? Are we just like, nah? A lot of times, women in particular, the biggest thing women are afraid of is of their power. I'm telling you flat out here, 99% women are afraid of their power. Why? Because our power has cost us punishment in past lives. This is why. We received some sort of punishment and we carried it through several lifetimes to today. So today we feel if we are in our power, again, something will happen. Maybe people died. Maybe cities got burned down. Maybe we hurt somebody. Maybe we got expelled from a village, from a place. This is serious stuff. This is still there. So what do we relate to power then? Punishment. And this is why those 3 that store all of that are the main centers. Now, as you can see, these are also the main centers where all the trauma is, where all the karma is, rape, abuse, everything is there. Bullying, all of that, all components are in those 3 centers alone. Because can you imagine there was none of that there? Who would you be if none of the traumas, karmas, shames, whatever, would be in the power centers, if it was completely pure? Who would you be? Free. Yes. Now, can you imagine this freedom? Freedom is, in my opinion, also a domain of the feminine, in my opinion. That's opinionated now. Why? Because to be really free from inside, speaking of inside, not like you're in jail or something, you have to not people please. Aries Libra theme. You have to not care what others think of you. Literally not care. And not in a selfish bastard way, like being arrogant, because that's not confidence. In a loving way. And it comes through a loving way. You have to accept rejection, judgment, and abandonment. And I'm going to tell you in a moment something very funny. Can you accept rejection, abandonment, and judgment? Write it in the chat box. Can you accept it? I'm not saying if you want it. Nobody wants that. No. 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 Good. Now then you can't be free. I'm sorry. You can't be free. Why am I saying that? Because you're too much dependent on how the outside perceives you. The feminine, and that's the dark feminine, she doesn't care about this. But let me tell you now a secret. Because when you say no, that's self-judgment, yeah. When you say no, it's a child in you that experienced that. It's not you. It's that inner child. That inner child that at some point in their life, when they were young, were rejected, were judged, maybe even bullied for who they were, for speaking up. Maybe you were trying, you saw your mom, being very depressed, being miserable, and you were trying everything to please her. Why this is a game changer is because when you reach that state of liberation, because right now you're thinking mentally what this means. You're thinking from the wound itself what this means, right? When you are truly in that state where you don't care, and here is now really the key. When you are in that state, you're fully connected to your divinity. The vibration behind this state is not mental at all. It doesn't come from your mind. It doesn't come from setting boundaries. I know it's very confusing what I'm saying now. It comes from love, yes. Why am I saying this? Because I am there, guys. I'm telling you this because I've been through the process. I know. It's a very different vibration. It's a very different vibration because when you are sovereign, this is sovereignty, by the way. This is sovereignty, what I'm telling you now. You're not sovereign as long as you care what others think. You're not sovereign. When you are in that state of sovereignty, what happens? Again, on that state where you're afraid, right? Where you cannot accept it. This is mental. It's a mental concept. It's fears. This state here where you don't care, it's a different frequency. This is the frequency of love, of divinity, of oneness. This is the frequency of separation. This is inner authority. This is outer authority. This is codependency. This is complete interdependency, sovereignty. When you are in the state, when you don't care, because here you don't care, oh, I don't care, they hurt me, I don't care. It comes from the ego state of mind, the protection mechanisms. I don't care. Even though it hurts you, you pretend you don't care because the walls are up to protect yourself. Here you don't need the protection because you know you're fine. And it comes from an incredible state of humbleness. This here is humble as fuck. I don't know how to explain it to you. It's very difficult to explain that frequency unless you haven't experienced it. This is why I know the difference. Being here is a lot about, being in a false sense of pride. I was there. I was there a lot. I don't care, whatever. I know who I am. Yeah, but the frequency behind it was hurt, was fear, was wounding. I want love, but I pretend it's okay because I don't want to be hurt. Here is I am love. I want love. I am love. And when you are in this frequency, you know what? That's even the funniest part. You don't experience judgment. You don't experience abandonment. You don't experience rejection at all. because the frequency you are here from is felt by others. And I'm tearing up because it's so profound. When others feel you here, they feel their own wounded self. So they project onto you. And this is where you get the rejection, the abandonment, the judgment, all of that stuff nobody on earth wants. It's all just part of the experience, but we don't want that. Here, it's literally, that's why I'm saying it's an oxymoron. It works the other way around. You don't get any of that. What you get is admiration. You get love. You get respect. You know why? Because now you're vibrating on a frequency that penetrates into others, and they recognize this frequency in themselves. This is God frequency, Christ consciousness. But you can't get there through the mind. You just can't. Do you see what I mean when I speak of this and this? But sometimes in order to get to here, we need to have this. Because how would I know I'm here if I didn't have this? I wouldn't know this. I'll give you an example that I use very often in my teachings. This is a heart, right? It's a full heart. The bridge to your heart. There you go, Kunali. The bridge to your heart. This is the whole heart, right? We can all agree it's the whole heart. Yeah, now here. What is it now? It's a half heart, right? Now this half heart thinks it's alone. It thinks it is separated because it's alone. Tick, 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 tick. But it has never been alone. It has always been part of the whole. But without it being separated, it cannot know that it's part of the whole. Do you get it? We need to know one polarity in order to understand the other. If we don't understand what separation is, we will never understand what wholeness is. Because it just is there. It just is there. So how do we know what's the difference? If we don't know what is light, we have to go through darkness to know the light. Yes. It's that simple. This is why I'm giving the example. You can never know when you reach that Christ consciousness state, even though I don't think we can ever reach it in the way that Christ is, because it's a whole nother frequency, right? But we can reach it from the different state of where we were. But if I wasn't here again, I wouldn't know I am here. And this is the inner work. It didn't come because of wishful thinking. I wish. Yeah, it's years of inner work. Took the death of my mom. It took the disease of my mom. It took me going through breakups and heartbreaks all and over and over again. Rejection, 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 being alone, rejection, being alone, losing all my finances, losing this to get to here. I'm telling you guys, I am not here because I had it easy. Nobody had it easy. This is not about easy or difficult or light or whatever. But the truth is, we humans, depending on the role we came here to play, have certain darknesses we have to go through. You cannot know the light without darkness. And a lot of us who are light workers, who identifies themselves as a light worker here in this webinar? Who is a light worker? Please comment. Light worker. Now, I think a lot of you don't understand what light worker is. All of you are light workers. Now, there is a saying in the spiritual scene, but I heard it also because I'm reading a lot about near-death experiences. The call went out to many. Few were chosen. And from those few that were chosen, very few do the work because it's freaking scary. The truth is that if you're a light worker, you know where you're working. You're working in darkness, guys. You don't need a light worker where there is light. Do you switch on the light when there is sun outside? No. So the whole purpose of being a light worker is to be sent to the freaking darkness to spread and shed the light. And a lot of light workers, oh, darkness, oh, this, oh, that. Why are you here? Yeah, it's not peace and love and kumbaya, my lord. Let's meditate. It's all great. Yeah, enjoy. This is the real work, guys. This is real shit. This is real the abyss. This is the underworld. This is the initiation. This is it. And this is feminine energy. It takes freaking courage to go there. Courage, which leads me to now the heart, from the power centers to the heart. The heart, courage. Why courage? Le cœur, French word for heart. Now, courage actually represents two words. One is cœur, French for the heart. Oh, l'amour, l'amour. Oui, oui. Yeah, I don't speak French except for a few words. And then, and then the second word is rage. Courage, rage. Rage is anger. It's the feminine, it's the tsunami, it's the waves that wipes everything out. Don't tell me you've never felt rage. I don't believe it for a second. And if you have not felt it, you have suppressed it. It was always there. There is not one feminine without rage. When you don't feel rage, you don't need courage. The word courage only makes sense when there is fear. Otherwise, you don't need courage, huh? You don't need it. What's the point?
Say that again. Sorry.
You don't need courage when there is
No, before that. Oh, right. When there is fear, sorry, that bit. What was that?
Where there is no fear, there is no courage required. It's
Where
okay.
there is no.
Well, look, courage is what is the meaning of courage? You're brave, right? You're brave. Oh,
No
but
fear.
no fear. However, oftentimes we get courage when we had
There is fear. Oh, right. Yeah.
when we had enough. When, the cup was full and we said, fuck that shit, I am done. This is where the rage comes in. I don't need courage if I have no fear. I just do. We don't, often we use words, but we actually don't understand what we're even saying. That's the whole point, right? So the heart, the rage comes when this below part, the power centers said, and now it's enough. Because what is the heart's function in regards to the chakras? And it has many functions, but I'm keeping it simple for the purpose of the short webinar, right? The function of the heart is, it is a gate. Now, the problem with a lot of people, they say stuck in the heart space. Oh, I live from the heart, and it's only the heart, and only from my heart. I feel it in my heart. Oh, right? Seriously, they're full of shit. Why? Because this space here can only open when the lower three power centers, first of all, free. Second of all, the gate is a gate for what? What is the heart a gate for? Brava. Yes. Very nice. Yes, I love you guys. Very smart women here with me today. The heart is the gate to the soul. It's the key. This is why I say when people stay stuck in that heart space, they don't actually go further than that. And they still don't know what really unconditional love, whatever they claim is. Because unless you enter the soul, you cannot know it. Check near-death experiences. As these, you will see everyone says, we have no freaking clue here on earth what love is. And I can tell you from my plant medicine, I had this unconditional love, and I can tell you, I was sitting there, I'm like, fuck, we have no idea. Take all the most beautiful experiences in your life, being a mother, feeling love, all of this, it will fade in comparison to this experience. This is real unconditional love. We are not here to live this, guys. This is not the purpose of being here on earth. We are here to experience all kinds of love and to get to the closest to unconditional love that we can. How do we reach that? Through the gate. But how many of us, let's get it real, unconditionally love ourselves? Exactly. Now, you want to tell me you have unconditional love? F off. You don't. Once we have this here, truly, fully, with our shadows, with our weaknesses, with our own bullshit, we can say, okay, I really messed this up, or I was lying there, or I was not honest there, or whatever it is. And we can own that, because we all do this to some extent. But when we can own this without feeling guilty or shame and say, you know what, I need to work on this, this is love. Unconditional love doesn't mean you're an idiot. Unconditional love doesn't mean you let others step on you, over you, or even for yourself. You're not living in an illusion. Unconditional love, all it means is you're connected to your divinity, guys. And the divine lives through you here on earth. It doesn't expect you to live like you're up there somewhere, because you can't. Yeah, not even those so-called gurus can. This is not the point of being here. So the heart is a gate. Now the heart controls the flow of the 3 lower power centers to the throat and the third eye. The throat and the third eye are what we consider the spiritual centers. Spiritual, right? So they cannot process negative emotions. How many of you couldn't speak when you suddenly felt shame? When you experience some kind of trauma, in the moment even, you lose your voice, right? It's like you have a frog, you can't speak. You're like, ugh. That's because it cannot process it unless it's purified in the womb. When we carry a lot of trauma, it's also hard for us to open the third eye, our connection to the divine. It's very hard because we are in survival mode. We function, we react. So the heart in itself never closes. There is no such thing as blocked heart chakra. It's just another BS. What it does, it just shuts down the flow from the 3 lower power centers to the spiritual centers. But the heart is always open. That's why we can always access it through love in an instant. But we're not meant to stay in the heart. The heart is the gate that gets us to the soul. I personally believe that the soul is in the lungs, but that's my personal belief, because we take the first breath and we take the last breath. And if you have seen someone dying, you notice how it kind of comes up here. I've seen my mom dying, so I've seen the process of death, and I've seen like it was like it's coming up from here until it's the last exhale. And we make sounds that are very similar to when we do tantric breath work. When we do kundalini work, it's the same sounds, the same features of the face, by the way. Why? Because it's primal. It's linked to survival. It's linked to death and rebirth. All of it, all the power centers, they are linked to the serpent energy. The sounds we make when we die are very similar to the sounds we make when we are in ecstasy. Because when you do, for example, tantric work, which is all about the sexual serpent energy, the feminine energy in particular, because what we consider the masculine, it's the Shiva, it's the consciousness. Yeah, and the feminine is meant to merge with the consciousness in the Kundalini awakening. But in the Kundalini awakening, what happens is that the primal takes over. So we make sounds like literally like this. It is not sexy. It is not beautiful. Yeah. So it is not beautiful, but it's the same. So what does this tell you? It's all connected, guys. So as you can see, my webinars are different in the way I connect the things, because I just don't want to give you what's out there a million times. Yeah, I'm giving you also personal experience from my life, from the work with clients, and from what I feel really the truth is. Now we're going to go into the power centers right now because Kunali already, she had to leave. So we're going to go into the power centers right now in a little meditation into the womb space. Okay. So let's see how you're all going to connect. So you can close off if you want the camera, or leave the camera on. And just relax. So close your eyes. Find yourself a comfortable position. Okay. That's it. That's it. And now begin to take just like a deep breath in. Put your shoulders up as you inhale, and as you exhale, drop the shoulders, sigh it out through the mouth. Again, deep breath in, shoulders up. Exhale, sigh it out. And one more time, deep inhale in, shoulders up. Sigh it out. Now keep your eyes closed and just try to stretch yourself a little bit as you're breathing. You can stretch your arms up or even behind your back, in front of your body, however you feel like it. And just allow yourself to shake off, even through the hands, any energy that wants to be shaken off. That's right. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly, when you feel like you've done that and the body is ready to like be calm, you begin to center yourself through your breath. So what we will do is we're going to inhale through the belly. So we expand the belly on the inhale. We pull the inhale all the way up to the crown. And then we exhale it down the spine, down the hips, the legs, the feet, into Mother Earth. Deep breath in through the belly, expand the belly. Pull the energy all the way up to your crown. And as you exhale, you allow the energy to go back down your spine, through your legs, all the way into Mother Earth. And again, 2 more deep inhales. And exhale. That's right. And do it one more time. Beautiful. Now bring your awareness completely to your womb space. You can also place a hand onto your womb and begin to consciously breathe into the womb. You breathe in and you breathe out. And just observe how your womb space feels without any judgment. Does it feel good? Does it feel heavy? And just observe. And then bring your full awareness to the root. So that's the place between your vagina and your perineum. And begin to breathe through the root. So you're like breathing almost through your vagina. So you're inhaling in and you're exhaling out. And observe your connectedness to your root. How safe do you feel? How nourished and protected do you feel? And notice where you don't feel safe, where you don't feel taken care of. And as you are bringing to awareness what the root is showing you, we are going to call in the energies of Mother Earth from the center of Mother Earth, all the way up through your feet, through your legs, right into your womb space. You may feel the warmth in your feet as this energy is moving up from the center of the earth, which is the earth's womb, all the way into your earth womb, to the lower womb, the root. And as you may feel the warmth through your legs and the connection, you feel suddenly the wave of connection, and the wave of rootedness. And then you take one deep inhale into the root. And as you exhale, you're fully melting with this energy from the center of Mother Earth. You're dropping the exhale to the center. As you inhale from the center, you're inhaling all the way up to your sacral. And as you exhale, you merge the energies from the root with the sacral. You now observe the sacral. It's the place below your belly button, below your navel. And observe how the sacral feels in this moment. Does it feel creative? Does it feel passionate? Does it feel like burning with fire? Or does it feel uncomfortable, shut down? Or only on half its potential? Now ask into the sacral, what parts of yourself are you most ashamed to show others? What parts of yourself are you most ashamed to show others? And allow her to answer without interference of the mind, of the thoughts. Just notice what comes up, maybe in an image, maybe just in a feeling or a sensation. And if you get the answer, ask her how you can release it. It's time now to let it all go, to let it all just wash away. And the energies are supporting that. Now, when you have the answer, allow yourself a deep inhale into the sacral. And as you exhale, you allow all of this energy to again go through your legs back into the center of Mother Earth. And then you take a deep inhale again in from Mother Earth, from its center. And you pull it all the way up. And as you exhale to the solar plexus, a few inches above your belly button, above your navel. And again, observe, how is the solar plexus feeling? You might not notice a big difference between those. You may not. And we are going to ask the solar, what relationship dynamics can leave now? What relationship dynamics can leave now? And feel, really feel what comes up for you. The eclipse energies are supporting this the entire year. This is all about stepping into your power, standing your ground, knowing what you will accept moving forward and what no longer has a place in your life. Now breathe as well into the solar. And as you're breathing into the solar now, you're going to breathe into the solar and you're going to connect the energies to the sacral and the root down into the Mother Earth. And as you exhale, you're exhaling the energy from the center of the earth. Interestingly, up now to your heart. And then you're breathing into the heart space. And I'd like you to really envision the heart as a gate that is deeply connected to the womb. And you may see the connection to the womb, you may just feel it. And if you don't do any of those, just know it's there. And as you see and feel the heart space and its gates, I invite you to, through the inhale, just allow yourself to walk through these gates. Just walk through these gates. And as you walk through these gates, you'll feel a wave of innocence. At the same time, a wave of power and divinity moving through all your cells, your being. And it's like you've known that. It's nothing new. And as you remember all of this, you see a light beaming from these gates all the way up to your throat and your third eye, your crown, and all the way connecting to the cosmos. And as you're inhaling through this pillar, you're inhaling all the way up to the cosmos, from the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown. And as you exhale, you take all this energy from the cosmos and you let it pour in through your crown, through your entire body, through all your cells, your tissues, your organs, your bloodstream. And you're allowing it to flood your whole being. And keep breathing that in a few times, just in and again and out in the body. That's it. And as you're connecting to these cosmic energies within and without, you notice how your womb is connected to the divine truth and to your truth, not the personal truth, but the soul truth of who you are. And you set an intention to your womb that she should reveal to you when the time is right, either through a dream, through another person, through a sudden insight, through a feeling, that she should reveal your truth. Your truth for this new cycle. And then you have to trust that answer. And as you are claiming that intention, you notice maybe some sort of relaxation in your body. Maybe some sort of pressure leaving. And I'm now just going to recite a few phrases, and all you have to do is to connect with your womb and just remain connected. You can repeat it within yourself. So if you're called, place your hands on your womb. And from your deepest heart space, we are now going to make a vow for the return of the divine feminine. And again, you can repeat it out loud after me or within yourself, or just let those words through an intent activate the feminine within. I give myself to the great remembering. I serve only love and our evolution in love. I vow to anchor the true divine feminine on earth. I vow to anchor the true divine feminine in my womb. I vow to leave no shadow unloved, no wound without balm. I walk the path of love. I commit to our return to innocence. I strip away all my armor and leave my heart undefended. I embrace all my feelings. Nothing is forbidden or left out. My strength is my surrender to the divine feminine flow. I honor my pristine sexuality. As a gift of life, wild and free. I long to merge with the ecstatic innocence of love in all. Sacred relationship is my sacrament. The womb, my temple. I vow to return my womb to her immaculate sensuality. To embody the sacred powers of conscious conception. My life is part of a greater tapestry. I offer all to this weaving. Holding the corners of the pure land. From whence we came. I claim my sovereignty. I claim my truth. For I am the creator. I am sovereign. I am free. And so it is. Now take a deep inhale in into your whole body. Feel it as you're breathing, the juiciness, the power through your being. And as you exhale, use the voice to exhale it out. Again, breathe deeply in. And as you exhale, exhale it out. One more deep inhale in. That's it. Now very, very slowly come back to the presence. You come back to the scent in the room, to your breath. And whenever you're ready, you open your eyes and you come back. How was it, ladies? I think you can unmute yourself because two had to leave. So if you would like to share how you're feeling. Anyone would like to share?
Yeah, I think I went really deep. I don't feel much in my body because I'm still very much in my head, but I believe, so I'm trying to let go of whatever I think and just believe that things are happening in my body that I still cannot obviously recognize in the way that I would want to, but I'm on the way.
You are. You are. And it still works, you know. Sometimes just the intent itself works. You don't have to like experience like crazy stuff in the beginning, you know. It takes time. And these are, you know, mini meditations. It's not like we do it for 1 hour and a half. That would be very different, right? So it's really mini, but it allows you to already connect to it and to feel it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Would anyone else like to share? Do you have any questions to the webinar we had today that you would like to ask?
It was very nice for me. I'm really happy and honored to be here with you all, guys. This meditation was an, I don't know, fascinating experience for me. I felt you really deeply. I felt the energies of the circle, and it felt so familiar to me. I had like a lot of images, like we have been together before. It was in the nature. I felt really deeply touched because we gave our vows in English, and it meant so familiar to me as well. That, so say, weird language you said, at the moment, it felt like something happened when you were saying that, and for the moment I felt like, oh my God, I know what is this. I feel fear, and then I felt such a relief. Like it was just I am like on the verge of tears, but because I'm deeply touched, and I got my answers really clear about my energy, what it is. And it's kind of scary because it's something that does not come from this world. It's so powerful, but it's something, it's not from this world, not in a bad way, but like I haven't gotten in touch with that in this world. And when you said how I'm going to unlock it, I had like an image of a children, you know, playing with the kite, running through the field. So I guess it's playfulness. I guess that's the message. Yeah. And I'm really resistant with the playfulness. I'm like the, you know, serious one, responsible one. I don't like to play with children and stuff like that. So it was like really amazing for me, amazing experience. I felt the vibration all around my body, and I felt like a little bit bigger in my womb area that I usually am. So I feel like I have something there that I should, you know, remove. So, some of removal is needed. And I also want to specially thank you and the girls who were here, or women, sorry, because at one point in this webinar, you gave me a permission to feel my rage. I'm very afraid to feel my rage, and you gave me permission to feel, so to say, all the dirtiness. I felt really much dirty, but in a good way. And I I had body feeling of that dirtiness is actually the power, and it has nothing to do with dirtiness in the way that we thought about it. So thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Oh my God. I, I'm, I'm like, you were talking and I was just tearing up. I honestly, I thank you so much, Sandra, for this. The weird language is called light language.
Like, oh, yeah.
It was light language. I was thinking, if because it comes out, I don't control it, right? But this is exactly what it is. Like, I felt like we were sitting before together.
Yes.
Like there
Yes.
was a time we did this already, you know? It's
Yes.
and you saw that. So it's just something
Yeah.
that's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, this is why I say this is a journey of remembering. This is not
Exactly.
something, you know, like you come up new and you discover. No, no, it's literally remembering. And it's this sacred rage, you know, it's this anger and it's this dirtiness that is not dirty. Yeah, at least not how we perceive dirtiness today when we say something is dirty. So I'm so, I mean, I'm really like so touched. Like, honestly, thank you for sharing this. And I'm so happy it had this impact on you.
Thank
And
you.
it just reminded you, you know, you had these visions, so you saw it.
Yeah, it felt like a remembrance, like really like I'm remembering you by energy. I mean, I don't have the visuals, but yeah, by the energy, I remember we already sort of did it, and that was our power at time.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm tearing up. It's like,
Yeah, because I am, because I am there. Yeah, but because I'm deeply touched, it has nothing to do with some sort of sorry or regret or something like that. It's because like I am touched like so deeply in my body or at my soul level or whatever. So yeah.
yeah. And I think this is also interesting because Kunali and Andra both had to leave. And it's like only the four of us remained. And this is actually the four of us is what I saw in that circle.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I have a different picture, but definitely it was a lot of women,
Yeah.
and we were in the field, and we were like very much clothes on, like almost naked, but not, and we were like covered in mud or in earth, like that. That's where the dirt comes from, but we were very positive thinking, and we were so powerful and so energetic. And I also saw, which was really interesting to me, a flag, and it had symbols on it, but I don't know what it is. I have never seen it. It's blue, and it has some sort of yellow pattern on it, but I don't recognize it because it doesn't look like any object known to me or something like that. So it was kind of weird, but the energies and feelings were in a way familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's my
yeah, because that's what it is. No, we were, even in my vision, like we were a lot of women, but in regards to who was here, like I mean, in the webinar, it was four, and there were a lot of more. And
okay.
You should also research, ancient flags or like flags, blue flags with ancient symbols.
Yeah, I will do that definitely.
Do that, because there is, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we had so many incarnations, so many lifetimes, and usually any woman that works with me or comes to my webinars, not all, like I would say 99%. Of course, there's always, also others, but we have had a lifetime together.
Yeah.
Either in a temple or somewhere in a village, and it was always like witches, healers. It was never like just, we were like, I don't know, wives and had kids. It was always like something more like powerful and ceremonial and sacred. And
Yes.
we are now coming together.
Again, that's great. That's really great.
I'm so happy, honestly. My goodness. Thank you so much to both of you. Oh, I feel so touched. You can. Hmm? Were you wanting to say something?
Me?
Yeah, someone
No,
said.
no, no.
Ah.
No, no, no. Okay, I'll mute myself.
No, it's all good, all good.
Okay.
Because it was like I thought someone wanted to say. No, it's really, it's also to see, honestly, very beautiful for me to see more and more our women, like from the former Yugoslavia,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of waking up to those topics, waking up to, feminine energy, to womb, to healing, because it's so much needed for our women.
Yes, it is.
So
It is.
really, because our women are incredibly powerful, guys. I don't know if you feel that, but seriously, like our women are not just beautiful physically, we are known to be beautiful, but I mean, really, like as a soul, as women, like as humans, we are really wow. Yeah, and we need to remember that, and we need to bring that sacredness back and heal. The more we heal also the bloodlines in our culture, in our families, and in our whole nation, really.
Yeah, that's really important because, as you said, we really suffered generationally through wars, through, all kind of violence between us, and yeah, I think it's time to heal.
It is because we feel it. We feel it. We are all connected. Whatever happens in one part happens to the other. And when I look at our women, there is so much beauty, but there's also our women carry a huge sister wound. There's a huge sister wound.
Yes.
Our women, there's a lot of, jealousy and competition amongst our women. And I really believe it's related to the time of the witch hunts because, women exposed each other in order to survive. And encoded in our DNA. So we need to learn to release that sister wound, to work together as women, not against each other and carry these nonsense things, but it's not nonsense because it's there and we don't even know why. No woman wants to feel jealous or envious, it's just there. So it's kind of when we do the work, we help also other women to do that. It always starts with us. Yeah, so I thank you so much. I did again 2 hours. I just can't keep it's like, I'm trying to keep it 1 hour, forget about it.
Yeah, I think 2 hours are just good. It can be much more. So 2 hours is a great timing.
It's a great timing, yeah. And I'm trying to keep it short, you see, but it's really difficult to keep this short because there's just so much to cover and it's just really, the time goes like this.
Yes, yes. That's my experience. For example, I can have like focus for 4 to 5 hours, not a problem if that's something that I need. And if it is not something, then after 30 minutes, I lost my focus. It's how my body operates. So I understand. So I guess today 2 hours was our optimum for all of us. That's the capacity we hold for today.
Yeah, it's enough. 2 hours usually are also enough. If you do more than that, you just lose the people and it's just leaves, right? So, oh, ladies, I thank you so much. And well, you know, the reason why I'm doing these free webinars is because we are creating a program and we want to see, okay, what topic is like, you know, how we can move it together and stuff like this. So do you feel that this is kind of a topic that is very important, like feminine energy, womb healing, or do you feel it's like
Yeah.
medium
It's
relevant?
very important, and I haven't had many of opportunities to have something like this. Like I've heard, I've read on my own. I'm trying to follow some people on YouTube, but this is different. It's, and especially because I feel I know you, and it has, you know, different angle when you have that thinking that knowing someone. It has more of a heaviness, I guess, in a positive way. So yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing this also for people to know me, you know, because there's one thing if you follow me, you see my content, you see me, blah, blah,
Yes.
blah. But it's very different when you're actually in my energy,
Yeah.
you know, when you're with me and we connect and we recognize each other. So, and you know, like you always call to the people that you're called to for a reason.
Yeah.
And everyone works different. This is how I work. You know, I'm a zero BS person. I go directly to the truth, to the core. I don't like this fluffy nonsense, you know. I just don't have time. We don't have time for this. You know, we need to go to the truth immediately. And the truth is felt. It's not even what I say. You feel it. Something inside of you feels, okay, there, you know, I recognize this.
Yeah.
So this is how you know it. So that's why we are going to create a program around this topic. And then, of course, I hope to see you there as well. Yeah. And if you have any questions, anything else, or if you want to work one-on-one, you can message me. Other than that, if you have questions, please also you can DM me. And then I'm happy to answer any of those.
Thank you so
Great.
much. You mentioned that we can have recording.
Yes, yes. I'm recording this. So of course, I
Oh,
will
yeah.
cut out the end a little bit, you know, so it's not too long. But if you DM me your email, Maya, because I don't have yours, your email.
Okay.
And Sandra, if you want, you can also email me your, like, DM me yours, and I'll send you both the.
Okay. Via Instagram.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and then I'll send it through WeTransfer because the file is too big.
Yeah. It's okay. It's too big. Yeah. 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 Okay. I'll send you my email.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you so much. Hvala vam puno.
Hvala tebi.
Ciao.
Bye bye.
Bye.